Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of the All Sports Betting Podcast. We are now previewing Sunday's match between South Africa and Bangladesh down at the Oval. South Africa 1-3 favourites to win this game, or even shorter than that in a lot of departments, but they lost their first match against England. Bangladesh, this is their first appearance in the tournament, and they can be priced at 3-1. Looking forward to this one, Kev?
I am actually, Steve. Yeah, I've gone pretty big with my thoughts on Bangladesh and I in this tournament, so hopefully they can justify that now. Decent first game for them, actually, based on what we saw on Thursday. Certainly nothing to fear from South Africa, who are under all sorts of pressure to get the win here, and not just get the win, but get it well, because what is it, the 104 runs they've got to catch up on their net run rate? Yeah,
not ideal for them, that start, I must say. Just before we talk about the match, let's just want to thank everyone for the support so far since All Sports Betting Podcast has returned. We're on loads of different formats now on the YouTube channel, Spotify for those who like that, SoundCloud as well. And thanks for any interactions we've had on Twitter and everything. Also want to make a special mention to someone who's been watching our live recordings here, Crime Scene to Courtroom on YouTube. Sorry about the 10 out of 10 bet. It pretty much made us all skint. Said he's just lost my house, wife and kids on that bet. And I think blame Pakistan, just didn't turn up. That's typical Pakistan, isn't it? But we'll be back to regain the damage loss on that particular match for sure. So South Africa against Bangladesh. I'm guessing because you bigged up Bangladesh in the pre-tournament podcast that they could be a spot of value here at 3-1.
They absolutely can. Yeah, I mean, I didn't need to do it really, did I? England highlighted nearly everything I said about South Africa in terms of their negatives or their weaknesses, whichever word you want to use. England exploited them, and they highlighted them in neon lights with fluorescent highlighter pen, didn't they? It was clear for all to see. You know, I mentioned after number 6, their batting runs out completely. They've obviously got issues with the makeup of their side. Faf du Plessis kind of highlighted that after the game. They probably need Dale Steyn, and they've not got him for this game, or at least at the time of recording, they've not got him. I can't think much is going to change in, 34 hours or so. So they've got problems, South Africa. I mean, they need to hope that Hashim Amla hasn't suffered any sort of relapse from that concussion, because he won't be allowed to play. And I mean, if he isn't allowed to play, that takes 6 batsmen down to 5. So they're even worse, in an even worse position.
Do you think it's going to suit South Africa that, I mean, did they need a run out, do you think, to blow off all the cobwebs? Or, this match comes so quickly after the last one and it was the defeat. Is that more of a negative for them?
I don't know as though they played badly in terms of underperformed, Steve. I think that's just what they were against England. I actually think they performed pretty well with the ball. I think keeping England to 310 or whatever it was that England scored was, it was a decent enough effort. I mean, how many times have England been restricted to less than 300 recently? Not very often, certainly not this summer. Every home ODI they've played this summer, they made 300. So I thought that was a decent effort with the ball from South Africa. But, as I highlighted in the Outright podcast, in the podcast for that match, and I'm going to highlight it again here, they don't have batting depth. And if if 1 or 2 of their top 6 don't get any runs, that's an awful lot of pressure on the other 4. And, you'd be hard pushed to say someone like JP Dumini's in any form. He looked bang out of touch against England. So really, you're looking at 2 of the top 4. They've got to score runs, otherwise South Africa are in deep doo-doo. So the last thing that they needed was Jofra Archer blasting Hashim Amla's head off, wasn't it? So, like I say, if he hasn't recovered from that, or if he's still feeling lingering side effects, because he's going to get some chin music again, isn't he? And he goes quickly. There's some skittles waiting to happen once again.
So, Bangladesh, what sort of bowling attack are they going to be coming up against here, South Africa? Mostly spin, I guess. I mean, I'm not a great expert in Bangladesh. I'm sure a lot of people listening don't know that much about them. So, in this particular match, is it going to be a spin threat, or do they have a bit of pace about them as well?
Yeah, they don't have pace. I mean, they have bowlers if there's something in the wicket. they might be able to exploit a little bit of movement, nothing drastic. The strength of the attack, like you say, is very much with the spin. You know, Shakib in particular, still rated the top ODI all-rounder. But that's no bad thing because South Africa don't play spin very well. I mean, okay, they clobbered Moeen Ali for a couple of sixes, but, you know, they didn't play him particularly great. And Adil Rashid could have had a couple of wickets if Josh Butler had hands and gloves and knew how to use them. So, yeah, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Seam-wise, they've got the fizz, although he, annoyingly, after we tipped him up so well in the Outright podcast, he's gone and picked up a calf strain. They reckon he's going to be fit, but time will tell on that one. One or two other bowlers. Rubal Hossain's got a little bit of heat about him. But yeah, predominantly it's the spin that's going to do the damage.
So you're not going to take Bangladesh on the nose to win, but you are going to take them on a handicap. Handicap is plus 4.5 wickets or 25.5 runs. I suppose you better explain to the listeners how this actually works.
Yeah, so if Bangladesh bat first, you need them to take 6 South African wickets or more, obviously, but at least 6. So basically get rid of the top 6. Then we've got our friend Dwayne Pretorius coming in, and we went for a runner ball in the last game, got run out first ball. So he's the kind of key man, really. If you get him to the crease, then that bet's in. And the other way around, whatever South Africa put up, Bangladesh got to get within 25 of it. So let's say, for argument's sake, just for simple maths, Australia put up 275, Bangladesh would need 250.
Yeah, I always think with these, with the handicap bets, you actually want your team batting first if you can, as long as they put up a decent total, because to actually take 6 wickets isn't that many wickets, is it really? So, but
the good thing about this one is both sides of the line are chunky enough, really, that Bangladesh should be well within it.
Yeah, 20. You don't get that many matches that finish really close, though, do you? Like between 0 to 30 runs, I must say. You don't get too many like that. But
no, you don't. But don't forget, this is a 9-game competition, isn't it? And, you know, there might be a point where Bangladesh can't get close, but they have got plenty of batting depth, and every run will count in net run rate. We've already seen 2 absolute wallopings. So protection of net run rate, if you can't win the game, still carries a little bit of importance.
Well, handicaps may well be irrelevant anyway. You know, Bangladesh, we think they can put up a good fight in this game, may well win the match completely. So I wouldn't be lumping on South Africa at such a short price, especially after what we saw the other day. You've got a performance bet in this game as well. That's a Bet365. The handicap bet's a Bet365 as well, I must add. But so you're taking a Bangladeshi player on the performances?
Yeah, Mahedi Hassan, the spinner, improving spinner. Off spinner, but he's a wristy off spinner. He's not a finger off spinner in the Moeen Ali mould. He's a wristy off spinner. I'm trying to think of someone who I can compare him to. Maybe a poor man's R Ashwin if you're looking at comparisons. But he's got a good record. He'll take the ball away from the left-handers, but because he uses his wrist, he's got a good run. So he's in play with the right-handers as well. Quinton de Kock, he's terrible against spin, so I wouldn't even be surprised if this guy opens the bowling against him to try and get rid of him. He's the key man, really, isn't he, based on what we saw the other day. The other thing I like is he's a more than handy batsman, this guy. Okay, he's going to bat at 8. If Kagiso Rabada gets stuck in early doors, I mean, they had England 5 down or 4 down quite early in England's innings, didn't they? So in theory, you'd think that that's going to play out similarly against Bangladesh. So this guy should get to the crease. Just 1 wicket and 12 runs gets him to 32 points, and that's all we need. If he happens to take a catch in between, we don't even need that, do we? 2 wickets, 32 runs, whichever way it comes around. He'll certainly have the scoring potential to do it, and I believe he's good enough to get there.
Okay, performance line there on Hassan. Let's talk. They're the only 2 bets you've got for this game. Let's talk about some top batting odds in this market. Top South Africa batsman, Quinton de Kock, favourite at 3-1. Hashim Amla, second favourite. We don't even know if he's going to play or what state he's going to be in, though. I mean, I've got to be honest, I thought de Kock looked pretty good the other day, but it's a different ball game against Bangladesh, isn't it? Against spin, like you said. Is there anyone in this South African order that can play spin very well?
No, not really. Du Plessis probably the best one. And he might actually be a bit of value in it. captain. Team that's a little bit low on confidence after the other day, needs a senior player to stand up and be counted. If I was taking him, I'd probably, if I was taking anyone, I'd probably take him. I mean, they need David Miller, but he seems to be out of favour. So, maybe Duplessis. But the problem is, Bangladesh are unlikely to get stuck in, or they're not guaranteed to get stuck in, with the new ball, which means one of the top two could get away, in which case whoever comes afterwards is null and void, whatever price they are.
In the Bangladesh top batsman market, we know you're on Tammy Iqbal outright for the tournament. Is there anyone else that could spring a surprise, though, that no one's really ever heard of?
Well, annoyingly, he's taken a blow to his wrist in the nets and has been for an X-ray. And although it doesn't show a break, apparently there's bruising, which could not, it could even keep him out of this game. But even if it doesn't, he might not be completely perfect. The problem you've got here is generally with my top bats, I like to take them down the market, don't I, to get some real extreme value. But is anyone really going to top score down the innings when you think Lungi and Ngidi, Kagiso Rabada bowled so well at the death the other day? You're looking at their 4 and 5, Shakib and Mushfiqur Rahim. They're probably going to be among the favourites. So in order to go and get any value, you've got to go right down. And I wouldn't want to be taking on Rabada. So no, not really for me.
This doesn't feel like it's going to be a particularly high-scoring game. I don't know about how you feel here, Kev, because the Oval pitch didn't play as well as people thought the other day. You would think things are unlikely to change in the space of 2 or 3 days, but this could be a case of 250s competitive.
Without a doubt, yeah, absolutely. That's one of the reasons why I like the handicap. If it is a low-scoring game, they've only got to stay within 25 rather than get to the score, haven't they? So, I agree with you. I think it might be a lower-scoring game, but we've only seen 2 games, so I'm not letting the trend be bucked completely yet. But if we see 3 or 4 more, then I might have to rethink my thought process.
Okay, thanks very much for your thoughts. Good luck with those bets, and we'll be back to preview England against Pakistan on Monday. So take care, Kev. We'll see you around.
Cheers, Steve. All the best, mate.
Cheers.